Hello, my dear friends. My name is C.A. Vinay Kumar. Let us continue the Indian Contract Act 1872. We were seeing what? Performance of contract. In that, let us see in today's lecture what is performance of reciprocal promise. What do you mean by reciprocal promise? It is given under section 2 subsection F. C. Promises which forms the consideration or part of the consideration for each other are called as what? Reciprocal promises. First word is very much important. There is no action. Only promises are being made from one party to another party. See here. Say Mr. A promises to pay rupees 1000 to B. In return, B is promising to deliver goods. Here both the parties are doing what? Only promise. None of them have done any action on this contract. Mr. B has not delivered the goods to A yet. Mr. A has not paid 1000 rupees to B. Both are what? Still in a promise mode, right? That is why both of these are called as what? Reciprocal promises. So in today's lecture we are going to see five sections: section 51, 52, 53, 54 and 55. So let us move ahead and see our first section, that is section number 50. So let us see today's first section, that is section number 51. See, promises are not bound to perform unless reciprocal promisee ready and willing to perform. See, when a contract consists of reciprocal promises to be simultaneously performed, no promiser need perform his promise unless the promisee is ready and willing to perform his reciprocal promise. Then only the promiser has to perform his promise. See, what is the condition? The promisee should be ready and willing to perform his part of promise. Then only the promiser is required to perform his promise. So, what do you mean by reciprocal promise here? Promises which form the consideration or part of the consideration for each other are called as what? Reciprocal promises. Already we have seen this under section what? 2 subsection F. So what is important? Simultaneous performance of the reciprocal promises. Both the performance has to be done at a same time, right? Let us see some of the examples for this section. Section number 51, where it consists of a reciprocal promises plus promises are to be performed what? Simultaneously, right? In that case, promiser need not perform his part of promise unless what? What is the condition? Promisee is ready and willing to perform his reciprocal promise. Say for example, sale of goods from A to B. A has to pay to B, then only B is required to deliver the goods, right? B has to deliver the goods, then only A has to pay, right? Both these act are done at the same time, right? See, say for example, illustration number 1, A and B contract that A shall deliver goods to B to be paid for by B on delivery. A need not deliver the goods unless B is what? Ready and willing to pay for the goods on delivery. B need not pay for the goods unless A is ready and willing to deliver them on payment. So both the party has to perform their promise only when the other party is ready and willing to perform his part of the promise. See, one more example is there. A and B contract that A shall deliver goods to B at a price to be paid by installments. The first installment to be paid on delivery, right? Since A need not deliver unless B is ready and willing to pay what? First installment on delivery. Similarly, B need not pay the first installment unless A is ready and willing to deliver the goods on payment of the first delivery. Right? Clear? Understood? So it means what? Both the party have to perform their promises simultaneously, right? That is given under section 51. Let us move ahead to section number 52, where the order of performance of reciprocal promises is already fixed. See, where the order in which the reciprocal promises are to be performed is expressly fixed by the contract That means we have already decided who is going to perform the promise first. Then they shall be performed in that order. Okay. And where the order is not expressly fixed by the contract, where the contract is silent, who is going to perform the act first, then they shall be performed in that order which the nature of the transaction requires. Very much important what they are telling, as per the nature of transaction requires. Here it is as fixed by the order, and they shall be performed in that order, otherwise as the nature of the transaction requires. Say for example, A and B contract that A shall make over his stock in trade to B at a fixed price, right? A shall sell the goods to B stock, and B promises to give what? Security for that purpose, for the payment of the money. Here A's promise need not be performed until the security is given, for the nature of the transaction requires that A should have security before he delivers up his stocks. Without security, no one is going to sell the stock as it is to Mr. B. That is why here nature of the transaction is such that security has to be given first, and then only there will be a makeover of his stock. Similarly, see one example, section 52, where contract expressly provides for the order of performance performed in the order as decided. Where contract does not provide for the order of performance, then order in which the nature of the transaction requires, right? Say for example, loan against security. Say for example, I have applied for a loan to the bank. Bank will give me loan first, or they will ask for me the security first? They will ask the security first. So what is the first act has to be done? I have to give them the security. That has to be performed first. Then they will give me what? Loan. This is nothing but the nature of the transaction required. So giving of the security has to be performed first, and then disbursement of the loan amount. Clear? That is given under section 52. See, section number 53 tells what? Liability of party preventing event on which the contract is to take effect. So, when a contract contains reciprocal promises and one party to the contract prevents the other, okay, here one party is preventing the other from what? Performing his promise. The contract becomes what? Voidable at the option of the party so prevented, right? And he is entitled to what? Compensation from the other party for any loss which he may sustain in consequence of a non-performance of the contract, right? Let us see an example. A and B contract that B shall execute certain work for A for 1,000 rupees. B is ready and willing to execute the work accordingly, but A prevents him from doing so. A is preventing B from performing his promise. The contract becomes what? Voidable at the option of what? B. Right? And if he elects to rescind it, that means he is ready to cancel the contract, then he is entitled to recover from A what? A compensation for preventing, right? For any loss which he may incur by its non-performance, right? Let us see section 53. In short, one party to the contract prevents the other from performing his promise. Then contract becomes what? Voidable at the option of the party so prevented, plus he is entitled for what? Compensation. Example, A promises to repair B's car, but B did not provide his car for repairs. Okay, here B is preventing A from performing his promise, that is repairing his car, but B is not ready to give his car only for the purpose of repair. Then A has an option to cancel the contract and he is eligible for what? Compensation. Clear? Simple it is. That is section number 53. Let us move ahead and see what section number 54 tells. Effect of default as to that promise which should be first performed in contract consisting of reciprocal promises. It is a kind of contract where one act to be performed first and second act is dependent on the first act, right? That is why in that case what happens, see, when a contract consists of a reciprocal promises such that one of them cannot be performed, okay, one of them cannot be performed or that its performance cannot be claimed till the other has been performed. That means it is depending on the first act. So, and the promiser of the promise last mentioned fails to perform it, right? The basic act he has not performed. In the such case, such promiser cannot claim what performance of the reciprocal promise and must make compensation to the other party to the contract for any loss which such other party may sustain by the non-performance of the contract. Let us see this with the help of an example. Okay, see. Effect of defaulting as to that promise which should be performed first in contract consisting of reciprocal promises. Promises are reciprocal and they are what? Dependent on each other. First this promise has to be performed, then only the other promise can be performed. In that case, defaulting promiser cannot claim the performance from the other promisee and he shall compensate the other party for any loss suffered by him due to the non-performance. Right? Say for example, Mr. A promises to repair what? B's car and B promises to provide the automobile spares required for the repairs, whatever oil, engine, spares required for that repairs. Now, B fails to provide the automobile spares. In that case, A cannot repair B's car. So, A need not perform his promise and he is entitled for what? Compensation also. Clear? Right? As and when B provides the spare parts for the purpose of this repairs, then only Mr. A can repair B's car. So both are dependent, right? So in that case, A need not repair the B's car and he is entitled for what? Compensation. So let us move ahead and see some more examples. A hires B's ship to take in and convey from Calcutta to Mauritius a cargo to be provided by A. Right? A has taken a ship of B's and he wants to put a cargo in that ship. B receiving a certain freight for its conveyance. He is taking some charges for that. A does not provide any cargo for the ship. In that case, A cannot claim the performance of B's promise and must make what? Compensation to the B for the loss which B sustains by the non-performance of the contract. One more example. A contracts with B to execute certain builder's work for a fixed price. B supplying what? Scaffolding and timber necessary for that construction work. B refuses later on to furnish any scaffolding or timber and the work cannot be executed. In that case, A need not execute the work and B is bound to make what? Compensation to A for any loss caused to him by the non-performance of the contract. Simple. Understood both the examples? So let us move ahead. Your last section for the day, that is section number 55. Effect of failure to perform at a fixed time in contract in which time is essential. Here in this kind of contracts, time is already decided by the parties. On this date you have to perform this contract. So in that case what happens, see, when a party to a contract promises to do a certain thing at or before a specified date, okay, specified time, it is most important, okay, or certain things at or before specified times and fails to do so any such thing at or before the specified time, the contract or so much of it as has not been performed becomes what? Voidable at the option of the promisee. If the intention of the parties was that time should be the essence of the contract. If in the contract, while making the contract itself, we have mentioned that I want the goods on this date, this is very much important for me, already I have shown my intention. In that case, if the other party could not deliver the goods on that date, then I can avoid the contract and I can claim what? Compensation for it. See, effect of such failure when time is not essential. Here, time is not essential. In that case, if it was not the intention of the parties that the time should be the essence of the contract does not become voidable. Okay. In that case, I cannot cancel the contract by the failure to do such thing at or before the specified time. But what? Promisee is entitled for what? Compensation from the promisor for any loss occasioned to him by such failure. Clear? Where time is essential, I can avoid the contract and even I can claim the compensation. If time is not important in that contract, then I cannot cancel the contract but I can claim the compensation. Then, effect of acceptance of performance at a time other than that agreed upon. Say for example, the other party has not performed the contract within the time and time was essential. So I have what option to cancel the contract and I can reject the goods. But here I am not cancelling the contract, I am continuing it and I am ready to accept the goods on a later date. In that case, what happens? See, if in case of a contract voidable on account of the promisor's failure to perform his promise at the time agreed, the promisee accepts the performance of such promise. Okay, see, promisee accepts performance of such promise at any time other than that agreed upon. The promisee cannot claim the compensation for any loss occasioned by the non-performance of the promise at the time agreed. Okay, it means what? I have an option to avoid the contract, but I am not cancelling the contract. I am taking the goods on a later date. In that case, I cannot claim the compensation unless again there is a exception saying what? At the time of such acceptance, at the later date when you are accepting those goods, he gives notice to the promisor of his intention to do so, right? The promisor, I am telling the promisee that see, you are giving the goods after the date I have specified. I have not cancelled the contract. I am ready to accept the goods, but I want compensation also. If that is already told by the promisor to the promisee, in that case, the he is entitled for the compensation. Clear? Understood? Let us see it in the form of a chart. Time of performance of promise, where time is what? Essential, where time is not essential of the contract. If time is essential, contract not performed on or before that time specified, it becomes what? Voidable at the option of the promisee. Plus he is entitled for what? Compensation. Where time is not essence of the contract, contract not performed on or before the time specified, but contract is not becomes voidable, but he is entitled to claim what? Compensation. Here, where time is essential, in that case, see, no compensation is paid if promisee accept the performance at any time other than the time specified. But there is again an exception. Promisee given a notice saying that to the promisor of his intention to claim what? Compensation. I am taking the goods, no doubt, but I will take the compensation also, right? It is already mentioned by the promisee to the promisor. Then in that case, he is entitled to claim the compensation as well. See, say for example, Mr. A ordered 10 bags of cement from B on 1st November 2020 for what? Construction at the rate of 100 per bag, right? Whenever it is a business contract, it is always assumed to be a time is essential of the contract. So on 1st November 2020, B has to send 10 bags of cement to Mr. A at the rate of 100 per bag. But what B fails to provide on 1st November 2020. In that case, A is having a option to what? Cancel the contract and claim what? Compensation. Right? A is having an option to cancel the contract and claim the compensation. A purchased from C at rupees 10 per bag. When B did not deliver the goods, cement bags, A purchased the cement bags from Mr. C at rupees 110. So I am paying extra how much? 10 rupees. A has paid a extra 10 rupees per bag. That will be claimed from Mr. B. Next, later B sent 10 bags on which date? 5/11/2020. That day also I wanted 10 bags of cement. So A again accepted this 10 bags, right? In that case, if he accepts silently, then he will not get compensation. Okay, when he accepts the performance of the contract at a later date, he is not entitled for any compensation. But at the time of accepting this performance at a later date, he has told that he wants compensation also. In that case, A is entitled for the compensation even though he is accepting the performance of the contract at a later date. Clear? Simple it is, right? Once is what? The other party is not performing the contract as on that date. That is why the promisor has two options. Cancel the contract and take the compensation, or else continue with the contract and accept the goods on a later date. Then you are not entitled for the compensation unless you have told the promise that you will get the compensation also. You want compensation also. In that case, you will get the goods also, you will get the compensation as well. Clear? So with this, we have completed today's lecture. We have covered what? Section number 51, 52, 53, 54 and 55. Revise these sections again and come back to the next class. We will revise them again in the next class beginning, and then we will move ahead to next sections. Thank you.